Uh, yeah, I was wanting to share this with all of you since I came back from my trip from Colorado, and that the week before I went to Colorado, I experienced something that the week before I went to Colorado, I was staying at my dad's for a little bit, and I just want to say that when I was at my dad's, I was just going through I was just having one of my days. I was depressed and just, nothing was going on during the day. We were just sitting around just watching TV, and I told my dad, I said, "Hey, I'm going to go outside for a little bit, take a quick walk." And I went outside and I walked past the parking lot to these trees. I kneeled down and I just started praying. I said, "God, I'm just stressed out about life. I'm depressed. I'm going through a lot right now. There's my thoughts are racing. Just just of what's going on. Just what was going on in that time was a lot, and just and I got up after I was done praying. I walked around for a bit. I went back to the apartment upstairs and I went sat on the couch for a few seconds and I closed my eyes and I said, I kind of drifted off into this daydream like state. I really don't know, to be honest, but when when I was in that state, I seen Jesus, and he reached his hand out to me and put it on my cheek. I seen when he was reaching his hand out to me, I seen the nail mark in his hand. And another thing I'd like to say is on the same day, I think God sent me the thought he's calling me to ministry. When I don't know if it was the day before or the night before or the same night that day, I had a dream, or I really don't remember the time of when I had the two visions. It was the first vision or daydream was I was baptizing people. Many people. There were crowds of people coming up to me. I was baptizing them. Children, women, adults, elderly. And the two I remember in the dream, I baptized this teenager. It was a girl. After I raised her up from the water, we smiled at each other. And I told her, "You are saved. And go do what God commands you. Go do it." And she just smiled. And the second one was a teenage boy. After I raised him back up, he said, I looked at him. I was nearly to tears. I was just smiling. He was smiling back at me. And I told him, you who no longer lives, Christ lives within you now. You are saved. And pretty much, and it's crazy in a way, but it's cool. But just what I can say is just beyond. And the thought comes to me sometimes. If I do become a pastor one day, I want to do it until I'm 80, 70 years old. I don't care. I don't know if this was an I don't know if God sent me this thought, but who knows? It might come down to the point where my children have to hold me up just to preach for people. I don't know if I seen that in a dream or a vision. Either one of my children said to me, "Go and do what you love, Dad. Do what you love. Do what God commands you." And I don't know if some of you seen my post on Facebook. During the week in marching band, I wrote Bible verses on the board. And I put 2 Bible verses with that picture when I posted it on Facebook. I said I wrote these Bible verses on the board, and I don't fear judgment. I don't fear persecution. I don't fear any of it. You can judge me. You can make fun of me just because of my faith. But it ain't stopping me. Just like I told my dad, you can rip this cross off my neck, and it won't change my mind. I won't stop thinking. I won't stop believing. I won't stop having faith. And God is good. He's good. I thank Him a lot for many things in my life, to be honest. Just with my birth into life, to be honest. I was born premature. I was at the brink of death, to be honest. Just the stories I hear from my dad and my mom and my aunt and other family members. My dad said he was crying so hard, and he said, "Zach, that's the hardest I've cried in my life." He says I was running back and forth the hallways, and just so upset, knowing that they're gonna leave me. But that's a major thing I thank God for. My life, personally. He get I like I said, I could have died at birth. I was born so early. 1 pound and 12 ounces. Not even that, I think. I don't know. But I thank him for many things, to be honest. For all the crazy stories my dad's told me about his life, to be honest. That's a true blessing for him, for God to keep him alive, to be honest. For all the crazy things he's been through in his life. Yeah. One of the one true thing, to be honest, he saved me from depression. He saved me from anger. He saved me from hate, denial. He saved me from that. He saved me from that. When I was at camp, and on that first night, if you guys seen my testimony video, I literally ran up to that stage, bowing down, asking for forgiveness, saying, God, forgive me for what I've done. And I, I remember the two things I said when I was praying. I said, God, I'm tired of trying to kill myself. I'm tired of feeling depressed. Help me. And depression does it does not win. It will not win. Through him, it will not win. It will be cast to the deepest of seas. He will cast it away. He can save you. He can save you. You just gotta believe. You just got to. You just gotta believe. Honestly, I've been wanting to go live for days, to be honest. Yesterday, last night, I had marching band all week, and I was just so tired. I just literally passed out on my bed. I was just like, okay, think of that Bible verse in Matthews. Anyone who comes to me, I will give you rest. Pretty much, pretty much all there, pretty much. What? No, what? Yeah. When I had and when I was having when I had that daydream when I seen Jesus put his hand on my cheek, it was like the greatest comfort I've ever had. Like the greatest feeling I've ever had. Like, to be honest, it was in the I don't know, in the daydream like state. I put my hand on right on top of his. I'd I don't know, like he probably like the first thought I had was like probably like please keep your hand there. Just keep your hand there. um yeah. Uh, yeah, I noticed you're watching, Alex. You haven't missed much, man. Just I'm talking. I don't know. When I end it, I guess you could watch it from the beginning. But I was mainly talking about for 2 weeks in August, I had a well before I went on my trip to Colorado. I don't know if any of you got. I don't know if you've seen the post of me being in Colorado or anything. Just I was talking about how the week before we left, I had basically I was having visions or daydreaming, like God's basically calling me to ministry. In the daydreams, it shows that I'd baptized many. And there was this, yeah. And I don't, yeah, I know you've been watching for a while now, pretty much. How I said I was praying under a tree. I was basically saying, God, I'm depressed. I'm stressed out about everything that's going on right now in my life, and how I went back to where I was staying at, and I closed my eyes. I went into like a daydream like state, and I seen Jesus. He put his hand on my cheek. Literally the greatest comfort I'll probably ever remember, to be honest. That's and I don't know if you heard me earlier. I don't know if you started watching this from where I was talking about. But in the dreams, as I was saying from earlier, the first I baptized this girl. I After I brought her back up, she just smiled at me, and I smiled back, and I told her, "You're saved now, and go out there and do what God commands you." And the second person I baptized was a boy, a teenage boy. After I brought him up, I said, "The old self that your old self does not live anymore. Christ lives within you. You're saved." I in the dream, I was nearly to tears after and we just hugged. I hugged that kid. We hugged, and I I didn't have any daydreams towards this, but I guess God gave me the thought of this. The thought was, I will go to orphanages and talk to orphans. And and I don't know if God gave me this thought too, but he the thought was that if I do become a pastor one day, heck, I'll be doing it till I'm 80 or 70 or whatever, how long ever I live. But I don't know if God gave me the thought of that to the point where my own children have to hold me up so I could preach. Another thing that God has truly blessed me with personally, my father's sentencing was on August 11th, and he had no jail time, just 30 days in rehab. Honestly, good. Just good. Honestly, I could never stop telling people about camp, to be honest. I was even telling my brother about it, and I know he doesn't believe. But There was this one time my brother and I were talking, and he said, "It's too late for me." And I mentioned that to my one friend, and he said, "Zach, tell him the story about the thief, the criminal on the cross next to Jesus. How he was basically saying to Jesus, 'Will I be with you in your kingdom?' And how basically Jesus just forgave him instantly there. And he said, you will be next to me." It's funny in a way how my dad, I told him I wanted to be a pastor, and he said, I don't know. I don't know. He said, "I never imagined a pastor in the Myron family." I just, it's just cool in a way. It's cool, but while I was there with Dad, I was telling him about it. I was telling him that how I got those dreams from God, that I'd baptize many and go to orphanages and how Jesus put his hand on my cheek. Yeah. I know I've probably said this as I'm live right now. I probably said this a bunch of times that if he saved me, he can save you. He can. Honestly, when I walked into that camp, I was out of it. I was denying. Didn't even care. When I came out of that camp, I was saved. Be honest, I was saved. He saved me. My dad told me with religion, it's like a job. And I looked at my dad and I said, "Dad, I'm willing to live it. More than live it." I told him, "I don't want to stop. I don't want to stop. I never want to stop what I'm doing." I went to church with my friends last Sunday. We were talking about the end of basically the end, Revelations and stuff like that. And I started praying and I said, "God," I was just nervous during the sermon. I just said, "God, I'm nervous. I'm 15 years on this earth is not enough. It's not enough." And my friend's mom was hearing me pray. And after the sermon, she told me, "Zach, the reason why you're nervous is because you're wanting to seek God more." It's true. I do. Truthfully, I do. If anyone who is watching this, if anyone doesn't, if you guys want to know how, I would run out of my room right now, run outside, start preaching. I'd run somewhere with a group of people, I'd start preaching. That's how. Yeah. If anyone didn't see my testimony video, I'll put the link at the bottom of this after I'm done here. I really don't know what to say, but to be honest, but honestly, I hope it's helped any of you, to be honest. That goes to anyone who watched my testimony video, if anyone watched it, and if it helped you. That's good. Yeah. I'm gonna end it here, okay, guys?